In January 2025, I wrote a short history of the ballad No Irish Need Apply. Little did I know that this little story would spark a firestorm of comments on social media. While some people were aware of the ballad, most were simply appalled to learn of its history. Its dark and disturbing history. Some people went so far as to say that the ballad's sentiments are as relevant today as in days of yore. This is the story of No Irish Need Apply. On the 22nd of July, 1984, approximately 40,000 people gathered at Páirc Uí Chaoimh in Cork to hear performances by Leo Sayer, Christy Moore and the Wolf Tones. During this one-day Seamus sa Coishlí music festival, the crowd also heard superstar Don McLean sing his mega-hit American Pie, as well as the old folk song No Irish Need Apply, delivered by McLean in a rollicking sing-along style. As we shall see, however, this song, which by 1984 was 120 years old, chronicled a dark chapter in Anglo-American history. Let's hear a snippet from Don McLean.
Oh, I'm a decent boy, just landed from the town of Ballypack. I want a situation and I want it very bad. I've seen employment advertised as just the thing, says I. But the dirty small peat ending with no Irish need apply. Well, he gets my dander rising and says to him, says I, what have I done to make you right? No Irish need apply. Some do think it a misfortune to be christened, Pat or Dan, but to me it is an honour to be born an Irishman.
Irish Americans who went in search of work in Britain frequently encountered what became known as the Nina, that is, a publicly displayed sign or a newspaper ad which clearly stipulated that no Irish need apply. As far back as the 15th of February 1825, the London Morning Advertiser published the following notice. Wanted for a public house, a servant of all work, apply at the Red Lion, Hampstead. No Irish need apply. This curious employment clause soon found its way to parts of America, much to the dismay of John F. Poole, an Irishman who left his native Dublin to set up home in New York. Having worked for a while as a clerk, Poole later established himself as an impresario in the music business, becoming a hugely successful songwriter, dramatist and theatre owner. Many of Poole's songs, such as McLaughlin's Party and Guinness's Raffle, were performed on stage by his close friend and confidant, Tony Pastor, billed as the great comic vocalist of the age. In 1862, the lyrics of Poole's biting satire, No Irish Need Apply, as sung in Cork by Don McLean, were published as a broadsheet by Henry Marson of New York. Not at all surprising then that in 1864, Poole's lyrics were also included in Tony Pastor's complete budget of comic songs. There is no doubt that the Poole and Pastor partnership did much to make people aware of these unseemly Nina signs and ads, but it would take many years before they would disappear entirely from public view. On the 6th of August 1899, for example, the Brooklyn Daily Eagle published a notice from a J.W. Block from Eastern Parkway, Brooklyn, who, when looking for a good cook and laundress, saw fit to insert the Nina motto. Similar ads appeared in English newspapers until well into the 20th century, as evidenced by an ad placed in the Hampstead News on the 18th of July 1940. On this occasion, a middle-aged lady who went in search of a cook for her residence at Fairfax Road in London made it abundantly clear that no foreigners or Irish need apply. Given that Poole's No Irish Need Apply was not published in conventional sheet music form, we can only speculate as to the melody sung by Tony Pastor. But what we now know for certain is that folk singer and banjo player Pete Seeger came across Poole's words in 1947 at the Library of Congress in Washington. While he was there, Seeger also ran his eye over the words of a kindred song called No Irish Wanted Here, as penned by the Irish-American Edward Harrigan. Having added a melody, Seeger grafted the following two lines from Harrigan's song and used them as a chorus for Poole's. Some may think it a misfortune to be christened Pat or Dan, but to me it is an honour to be born an Irishman. The song was included on Seeger's 1954 album Frontier Ballads Volume 1, and in 1963 Armagh's own Tommy Makem sang a stirring version of the same arrangement on the aptly titled album Songs for a Better Tomorrow. By the 1960s, Nina signs had largely been consigned to the dustbin of history, being rarely seen hanging on the gates of factories, in the windows of guest houses, or placed in the classified sections of newspapers. And so ends the story of John F. Poole's No Irish Need Apply. I'm a decent boy just landed from the town of Ballyfad. I want the situation, yes, and want it very bad. I seen employment advertised, that's just the thing, says I. But the dirty spalpeen ended with no Irish need apply. Oh, says I, but that's an insult, though, to get the place I'll try. So I went to see the blackguard with his no Irish need apply. Some may think it a misfortune to be christened Pat or Dan, but to me it is an honour to be born an Irishman. Well, I started off to find a house, I got it mighty soon. There I found the old chap seated reading the Tribune. I told him what I came for, when he in a rage did fly. No, he says, you're a paddy and no Irish need apply. How well I got me gander rising, I'd like to black his eye, to tell an Irish gentleman no Irish need apply. Some may think it a misfortune to be christened Pat or Dan, but to me it is an honour to be born an Irishman. I couldn't stand it any longer, so a hold of him I took, and I gave him such a whelping as he'd get at Donnybrook. He hollered me a murder, and to get away did try, and he swore he'd never write again, no Irish need apply. Ah well, he makes a big apology, I bid him then goodbye, saying when you next want a bitten just right, no Irish need apply. Some may think it a misfortune to be christened Pat or Dan, but to me it is an honour to be born an Irishman.